Hi guys and welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you how to fit a steel reef extension link to a Rolex watch. This is kind of like a follow-up video from when I fitted it to my Zin 556. I've already fitted one to this, and what the link actually enables you to do is have kind of on the fly micro adjustment. I don't know about you guys, but I find the Glide Link clasp is amazing. It's a super system, but how many times do you actually use it? Most of the time I only find myself needing it when it's heated up, your wrist swells a little bit and your watch feels a little bit tight, and so you just need that little bit more kind of length on the bracelet. The Milgas and the GMT Master 2 both have this fitted as standard, and it is a super system. So like now you can see this, if I open up this clasp, you don't have to open it to actually do it, and I put my finger where the actual clasp is now and keep my finger there, but I just pull it down, you can see it's extended that little bit, and this will give you the comfort in those summer days, or if you're somewhere where it's warm anyway, where you just need the adjustment. So let me show you how you fit this to the classic Rolex Kermit. Now the first thing is, when you look at the bracelet here, the clasp, you have the dive link extension piece in the back there. You have this little round circle, so if I press that, that releases the dive link extension. Now you're not going to be needing that, so you can't use that once this is fitted. So if I release that now, it's a little bit awkward on camera. Let me turn this around. What you will need is a spring bar tool. You don't need to have a genuine Bergeron one or anything like that. It is only a pin will do it. Now we're going to release the screw where the actual piece is here. So if I show you, you've got this groove in there, and that is where this link sits into here. But we're going to be removing that now. So what I'm using is a 1.6mm screwdriver here. This is a Bergeron one. It's a good quality one. I would recommend, if you're going to be changing your link, get yourself a good screwdriver for actually doing it. Now this, I'll undo this. To be fair, this one I have taken off once before, so it's not too stiff. What can happen is, if you haven't took the link off before, the screw out I should say, is it can be somewhat stiff. And the way round that, when we what I always recommend to people is, if you immerse this link in boiling water or very hot water, it will break the seal with the Loctite, which has already been fitted. Sometimes at work we will get a steam cleaner and do that. If not, even you'd find a naked flame underneath the link will also break the seal, and that's quite often how we do it in the shop if you need to remove it. So in the packaging you basically get this, and this is your link. It comes with its own spring bar and a brand new screw, and it is so incredibly simple to fit. So okay, let's just fit that in there. So that goes into our link as normal. Now I'll put the one thing I would recommend, if you're doing this, you could always put a tiny bit of Loctite on that screw just to make sure it doesn't come loose. So all I'm doing now is screwing that link in. It does have to be tight. I'm not going to do it just for this video, but then we get the spring bar, place it in like so. Actually, we can close it up. We'll do it, have it open, I think, for now. And that then sits in there. Place it through the bottom. And now we'll put it in the clasp. Let's just see, I'll put it at the back for now. And then with your spring bar tool, just press it down and fit it in. He says, but can I? Does help when you don't have a camera right in front of you. And lock it into position. Let's go one back. So if I now press this one back, I'll take it to its furthest, its longest position. Shortest position. Oh, sorry, one sec. There we go. Now push this one back. I find that's always the easiest way of doing a spring bar is creep it along. So now I've got that in there. So now, if I press that in, you have a nice positive click. Let's take this off. Let's try it and see if it works. One thing I would always say, whenever you're doing spring bars or, you know, fitting a new bracelet, always give it a little bit of a pull and make sure it's in properly. As it can happen, they're not quite seated properly. And to be fair, especially the new Rolex spring bars are absolutely terrible. We have so many failures with Rolex spring bars, it's incredible. So that's it on my wrist. And as you can see, it's relatively nice and firm. You know, it looks the right fit. But let's say, you know, I need it to extend. You can open it all up, or you can just slip your finger on the back there and press. And now look, you have that extra little bit of space which might come in handy when it gets warm. To fit it back together, you do actually have to take this apart. So, well, not take it off, sorry. And as you can see, that's the link, and then I just press it in and clicks in. So now you have a more vintage style, not really true vintage being it's got sapphire crystal, but you have an older Rolex with the folded clasp, and you have actually on the fly adjustment, and that I think is very cool. Now, when I spoke to Steel Reef last, they were running a discount. I think we're doing like 15%. I'll leave the link in the description. I'm not sure if they're still doing it, but if you mention the channel, there is a chance they will allow you to have that. Because I think the retail of the links are coming in at £124, but after the discount, I think it's around about £100. And it just enables you to have your your older watch and still have adjustment on it. And that I find is just so handy, because if you wanted to put a new style clasp or bracelet on this, you're talking for a new bracelet around about, I think it's about £1,800 at the moment. So this way it just gives you that option. Anyway, guys, any questions, leave them in the comments below. I'll always try and get back to you, but things are getting a little bit harder as the channel is growing. Anyway, all the best, and most importantly, you'll stay safe out there. So take care, guys. Bye.